Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is actually the art of examination of abdomen, and I have named it Pictorial of Clinical Examination of Abdomen. Dear students, when you are asked to examine the abdomen of a patient, we have a checklist with us. This checklist comprises various steps which the examiner expects from you to perform. And the examiner assess your perfection in your performance and then allocate you the score. When you are asked to examine the abdomen of a patient, the checklist one is you must go to the right side of the patient. Number one. And number two, introduce yourself and take a consent in a decent manner from the patient for the clinical examination. And after this, you ask the examiner that, sir, I want to expose my patient from nipple to the mid of thigh. Remember that in case of females, most of the time, the exposure from the xephisternum to the pubic symphysis is considered sufficient. After these 2 points means number one, you will stand on the right side of the patient, introduce yourself, and take a consent for clinical examination of the abdomen. And number two, exposure of the patient and telling the examiner that you want to expose your patient from xephisternum to the pubic symphysis, or in case of female, from the nipples to the mid of thigh. Step three is that you start the inspection of the abdomen. In checklist 3, as you can see, you will sit on the right side of your patient in this way that your eyes should be at the level of surface of abdomen to be examined. And while sitting on the level of the surface to be examined, you will examine and inspect any visible pulsation, pigmentation, scar mark, type of respiration, or swelling. Remember that in surgical patients, the swelling and scar mark of previous surgery are very important. Now, while sitting on the right side of the patient, you ask the patient to cough. And in this position, you can see and appreciate any visible cough impulse. This position is very special for the diagnosis of para-umbilical hernia. As in this picture you can see that when patient coughs, you can appreciate the cough impulse in para-umbilical region. You will appreciate that swelling appears and then disappears. And this is a feature of reducible para-umbilical hernia. Yes, students, after inspection by sitting on the side of the patient, now you will move toward the foot end of the patient. Again, sit down at the foot end and your eye level again should be in line with the surface to be examined. Remember that this position is very special for inspection of inguinal region because in this position both of the inguinal regions are in your view. And now you ask the patient to cough. When patient coughs, if there are reducible inguinal hernias, you can appreciate the cough impulse. Second step in this position is to ask the patient to lift his or her head, and the chin must be touched to the sternum, and this is called cornet sign. In cornet sign, basically, the swelling, if the swelling is present intra-abdominally or below the muscles, when patient lifts his or her head, the swelling will disappear. And if swelling is present above the level of muscles, and the patient, when the patient will raise her or his head and his or her chin touches his or her sternum, you will see the swelling will be more prominent. When swelling by cornet sign becomes more prominent, it means the swelling is extra abdominal, and if the swelling disappears by this by doing the cornet sign, it means the swelling is intra-abdominal. So in this position, while sitting on the foot and side of the patient, you perform two things. Number one, you inspect and appreciate and try to appreciate by asking the patient to cough in the inguinal region if there is any reducible swelling in the inguinal region or not. And number two, you perform the cornet sign by asking the patient to raise his head and touching his sternum by his chin. And this is inguinal swelling you can see when the patient coughs. After performing these four steps, number one, you stand on the right side of the patient, introduce yourself and take the permission of examination. Number two, you sit down on the side of the patient and ask the patient to cough. And number three, you sit down on the foot end of the patient and ask the patient to cough, and then ask the patient to touch his sternum with his chin. This is called cornet sign. After these four steps, you will move again toward the right side of the patient. And when you move toward the right side of the patient, it is very, very important to ask the patient whether he or she is having abdominal pain or not. Remember, this is the most important step of the clinical examination of the abdomen, that before touching your patient, you must ask the patient whether she or he is having any pain in any part of his or her abdomen. This is so important a step. If you miss this step, this will create a very, very this will create a difficulty for you to pass an examination. After asking that whether the patient is having pain in any part of abdomen, you will start the superficial palpation. This is a scheme in which you superficially palpate your patient. Remember, you will start from the left iliac fossa, then left lumbar region, then left hypochondrium, then moves toward the epigastrium, then moves toward the umbilical region and hypogastrium, right iliac fossa, right lumbar region, and right hypochondrium. So you palpate all 9 regions of the abdomen. Again, remember that your angle at the elbow and your angle on the wrist joint with your hand should be like this. There should be not an acute angle at the wrist joint. This is the true picture and true method to palpate the abdomen, particularly when you perform the superficial palpation. You must be very gentle. Again, you must remember that while palpating the abdomen, you should look at the face of the patient. After superficial palpation, you will perform the deep palpation of your patient. There are 7 steps of the deep palpation of your patient. The, again, remember that palpation should be performed in all 9 areas by asking the patient for deep breath. Patient takes deep breath and you palpate the abdomen. In every aspiration, you will put your hand deep and press your palm of your flat hand deep to palpate the abdominal vessel. After deep palpation and palpating in all 9 regions of the abdomen, next step is to palpate liver. Liver palpation starts from the right iliac fossa and you move toward the right hypochondrium. The lower edge of the liver is palpated with the margin of your index finger. All the time you ask the patient to take deep breath. Remember, you should see at the face of your patient so that if patient feels pain of any kind, you should be more generous and more gentle. You may postpone that examination of that part of the exam of the abdomen. Remember another thing that percussion of upper border of abdomen is part of palpation. After the palpation of liver, you palpate the spleen again. The palpation starts from the right iliac fossa and you move toward the right hypochondrium, left hypochondrium. You start from the right iliac fossa and you move by palpating the abdomen toward the left hypochondrium. After that, you palpate bilaterally both kidneys and both kidneys should be palpated by manual. At number 5, after palpating kidneys, you palpate the bilateral inguinal orifices. You place your both palms of your both hands at both inguinal orifices and ask the patient to cough and you palpate the cough on uh, the pulse on coughing. After that, you perform the fluke thrill, and at the last, you ask the examiner that you want to perform digital rectal examination of your patient. Now, I explain you how you perform this organ palpation one by one. As I have already told you that your palm of your hand must be flat, and the edge of the liver is palpated with the margin of your right index finger. Your palpation must be started from the right iliac fossa, and you move upwards towards the right hypochondrium by asking the patient to take a deep breath. Remember that your eyes must be fixed on the face of your patient, and when you reach at the margin of the lower margin of the liver, you mark it and then percuss the upper margin of the liver. The percussion of upper margin of liver and palpation of lower margin of liver is one of the part and parcel of the palpation of liver. As I have already told you, that percussion of upper margin of the liver is a part of palpation. You start percussion from the second intercostal space, and by percussing, you move towards the upper margin of liver. When the note becomes dull, you mark that this is the upper margin of the liver. Next is the palpation of spleen. I have already told you that you start your palpation right from here, from the right iliac fossa, and you move palpating from the right iliac fossa toward the left hypochondrium. At the every step, you ask the patient to take deep breath, and you should see at the face of the patient. When you reaches at the right splenic area in left hypochondrium, you should palpate the spleen bimanually as well. Remember that spleen lies at rib 7, 9, and 11. After palpating the spleen, you palpate the kidneys by manually, as you can see and note that the position of the upper palm of right hand and lower palm of the left hand. This is how we palpate the kidney by manually. Remember that every patient has two kidneys, and you must palpate kidneys bimanually, bilaterally. After the palpation of liver, spleen, and kidney, you perform the fluid thrill. The method of performing a fluid thrill is that you put the right hand of your patient in the middle of the abdomen and ask the patient to press his hand against the abdomen, and you percuss with the finger of the right hand, and you palpate with the palm of your left hand the fluid thrill. So fluid thrill can be palpated by the palm of left hand while you percuss with the right hand, the finger of the right hand, while the right hand of your patient is is being placed in the center of the abdomen, and the patient presses his abdomen with his hand. This is how we palpate the fluid thrill. After doing the fluid thrill, we palpate our both palm of our both hands on the superficial inguinal ring and ask the patient to cough. If patient is having inguinal hernia on right side or on the left side or both, you will able to palpate the cuff impulse on one of the your palm of your hand. This is how hernial orifices are palpated. After palpation of the bilateral inguinal rings, you will ask the examiner, sir, I want to perform digital rectal examination of my patient. Remember, most of the time, your examiner used to say, doctor, it is all right, it is done. So after the rectal examination, the segment of palpation is over, and now you will go for the percussion of your abdomen. While you perform the percussion, some important steps you must remember. You have to percuss all the 9 regions of the abdomen. This is important. You have to percuss all the 9 regions of the abdomen, number one. And number two, you have to percuss the lower edge of liver and lower edge of spleen and upper edge of the unibladder, and you have to perform the shifting dullness. These are the different steps to perform the percussion of the abdomen. In percussion of abdomen, it is remember you must uh, be you must remember that the you must press your hand, left hand, uh, with the surface to be percussed. It should be uh, fixed. Your middle finger should be fixed with the surface to be percussed. And this middle finger, which is fixed to the surface to be percussed, it should be kept flat. And this finger technically is called pleximeter. This finger, which is fixed at the area which is to be percussed, should be flat, and this finger is called pleximeter. And you percuss on this finger with the middle finger of your other hand, yani right hand, the middle finger of your right hand, and this finger with which you percuss the pleximeter is called a plexer. Sometimes in the clinical examination, your examiner used to ask, uh, doctor, tell me what is pleximeter and what is plexer. Here you can see this is flexor and this is flexor. Then come the organ percussion. As I have already told you, you start the percussion from the right iliac fossa and percuss toward the lower margin of liver. Then you start percussion in right iliac fossa and moves toward the left hypochondrium to the lower margin of spleen. And then you start from the middle of the abdomen and percuss downwards toward the hypochondrium to percuss the upper border of the urinary bladder. And after percussion of the lower border of liver, spleen, and upper border of the unibladder, you have to perform the shifting dullness. The method of performing shifting dullness is that you start percussion, as you can see in the pic, in the central pic. You start percussion in the center of the abdomen and keep on percussing from the middle of the abdomen toward the right iliac fossa and right or left inguinal fossa. Right or left are the right and the iliac fossas. When you reach at the iliac fossa region, you will feel the note will be shifted. It is most of the time in the center of the abdomen is resonant. And when you keep on percussing and moving toward the iliac fossa, right or left, where there are fluid in the abdomen, you will feel the percussion note becomes dull. So when it becomes dull, now you ask your patient to change his or her position and keep the patient in this position for 20 to 30 seconds. After 20 to 30 seconds, the fluid, if it was present in this iliac fossa, it will be shifted downwards towards the other iliac fossa. And now the note in this iliac fossa will become resonant. It was initially dull because there was fluid in the abdomen. Now fluid has been shifted from this iliac fossa to the other one because of the change of position, and now there is no fluid. Now the the resonant note you can appreciate. So this change of the note from dull to resonant, we called it shifting dullness. After uh, doing the shifting dullness, the clinical examination of the abdomen as far as inspection, palpation, and percussion are concerned is over, and checklist 9 is to perform the auscultation of your patient. You auscultate at least in two areas, in the right abdomen and in the left abdomen, for 1 to 3 minutes to appreciate any gut sound if it is present. Thank you very much. After this, I will show you the clinical method by performing myself. You can watch and see and note and try to perform and repeat in your clinical examination at your ward.